Hey everybody, and welcome back to Little House of the Dragon, a Puttin on Airs presentation, a sister show of Puttin on Airs, a review show of the hit HBO show House of the Dragon. My name is Lord Corey. This is, as always,
Lord Kirby.
Lord Kirby. Do you have something to tell us? It's totally fine. All right.
Lady Kirby, sorry.
Lady Kirby, you'll notice that we're in a little bit different setting, and the reason for that, and you may notice in my voice a little bit, I got a little bit of the sinus stuff going on, and I'm trying to not let it turn into a full-blown cold because I've got to perform in Raleigh this weekend, so we're in the warm house, we're here on the couch, we're hanging out, and because of that, because we're inside, we're having to use a light, which bothers my sister's eyes, therefore, she looks like Ray Charles right now, which I think is a good look for you personally. So this episode was called Driftmark, and in my opinion, and I think this is kind of everyone's opinion at this point, unless you're trying to be one of those like contrarian haters, this was the best episode of the show.
There's not enough dragons in Westeros for me to give this show.
No, we're having to completely throw that system out. This is all the dragons you could get. It's not only the best episode of this series so far, it is one of the, it would be a top 5 all-time Game of Thrones episode. I put it up there with Battle of the Bastards, The Red Wedding, The Lion in the Rose, you name it.
There's literally only one thing that could have made it better.
What's that?
If it was a little brighter.
Yeah, that's true.
And HBO, by the way, basically put a statement out saying, sorry, dog, this is just us being creative. And it's like, but don't you want us to see what you're doing, though?
It made no sense to me because I get in their brain that they're thinking like, okay, but if you were on a beach, this is how dark it would be. And it's like, right, okay, but this is a show. Yeah,
when I found out that, when you tie back to the fact that the guy that produced it or directed it,
the guy that directed
it was the guy that did the Battle of Winterfell, which I remember sitting in this room watching it, and we literally were like, is there something wrong with your TV? We paused it, we turned, did the lighting or whatever.
I was furious because I was like, I just got this TV.
Yeah, that was the only thing that could have made it better.
But it was a wonderful episode. The episode opens, and we've not jumped too far in time. We talked earlier, maybe it was a month, because who knows how long it takes to get a funeral ready in this world, because in real life, it takes a couple days, but that's now. I mean, back in the 1800s, they used to put the person on a wagon and drive them.
Well, yeah, and I know there's dragons to ride on, but not everybody can get on a dragon to get there. So, they had to get on a boat. That takes a minute.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, part of the whole show is that, not everybody can have a dragon.
Yeah.
So, we'll say that this is a month later. We are mourning the death of Lady Laenor, who was burnt to a complete crisp. If you would remember from the previous episode, they have got her in her little tomb. They chunk her over the edge of Driftmark.
Yeah, just like a little cliff sitch in Driftmark.
Yes, just a little cliff sitch in Driftmark. So while at the funeral, Lord Corlys's brother is doing the eulogy. I don't know why it was his brother. Maybe it's because it's that's my daughter. I can't speak. I'm so sad.
You don't usually see the father of somebody doing a eulogy.
That's accurate. So the brother comes in. He gives the eulogy, and he makes. And me and you were having to decipher this through our limited knowledge of High Valyrian, and also we don't know exactly their whole relationship, but it seems to be that he's given them a pretty backhanded remark that's basically like, hey, our blood is better than y'all's blood. What was it exactly he said?
Well, he said something about their blood being thick, and then it panned to Rhaenyra, and to me, it was he's saying, listen, we're not fooled. I know that those are not
your kids.
Those kids are not related to us.
Yeah, and I think also what he was saying was and just so y'all know, we will not be betrothing any of our thick-blooded kids to your thin-blooded kids, even though, although they weren't all related. I guess the Rip, what's Rip's name?
Harwin Strong.
Yeah, he wasn't related to them. I'm sure he was related to them in some way.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because they're all...
Corlys's brother, does he have kids? They haven't showed that he has kids, right?
I don't know, but I have to imagine that he does, and if he doesn't have kids, it's literally because he's got, the Westerosi version of erectile dysfunction or something, because like in this world, based on, medieval Europe, like you, rich or poor, you have a bunch of kids.
Yes.
Like
yes.
we talked about it on Putting on Airs. It's for different reasons. The rich have a bunch of kids because that's more little minions they can have to control their estates and lands, and the poor have kids because they need more people to work on their farm. So him not having kids would mean that he is incapable of having kids, in my opinion.
Yeah, but he don't have a lady,
Oh, that's true. He doesn't have a lady.
Or he might have, a wench.
He's got a winch. You got to have a winch.
Yeah.
You got, I think the hierarchy is you've got your mistress, which is the number one. That's the woman you treat kind of like your wife, but it's not your wife. Then you've got your salt wife. You've got a lady in another place or whatever. And then a winch.
Gumar.
Your Gumar. I think that would be the mistress. Gumar.
Yeah, that's the mistress.
Gumar. And then a winch, to me, seems like someone that is not exclusive to you. A wench goes around and is just like, I'm a wench, my lord. Would you like me to wench you?
Yeah, a Gumar is someone you have a relationship
Exactly.
with.
That has never made sense to me on The Sopranos. Like, we've talked about this on Putting on Airs. I'm not saying it's right. But I understand a man cheating. Like, just going, that lady is hot. I'd like to do her.
Well, yeah, because we're biologically made to be attracted to more than one person.
And it's a quick act. It's like a man is busy and it's like you boom, 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 you're in and out. I cannot understand having a wife and then a second wife, because I don't know about you, I'm pretty covered up with the one that I got. Matter of fact, there ain't enough time in the day to meet all of her demands.
I know what it is. The wife is the one that gets, you get the wife when you're married, and after a while, you deal with your wife not just as in a relationship. You deal with the stresses of having a wife and bills, problems with your kids. And
the Gumar is just fun.
The Gumar you get to have the best part of your Gumar, and your Gumar gets to have the best part of you.
Yeah.
That's why people have affairs.
Okay. You know what? I get it now.
That's exactly what it is.
So
it's weakness.
So now we're at the wake, and it's I should back up a second. When the sea snake's brother makes this offhand remark, it causes Damon to laugh and kind of walk off, and then everybody notices it, which at that point I think everybody goes, oh, that's what he's talking about.
The thing about Damon, I'll give Damon, he ain't going to be offended.
No, he's real. Like,
he literally is not bothered by anyone.
No, he's like, this is who I am, bro.
Yeah, take it or leave it. And I vibe with that hard.
Oh, I
ride with him hard.
Yeah, like, I think everybody wants to identify with the attractive, swashbuckling hero type, and I don't identify with Damon in any of those ways, but I do identify with Damon in the, look, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and y'all can either ride with me or you can ride against me. But either way, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I ride with him.
Yeah, so like, be with it or be against it, but just know that I don't care, but I am taking notes.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. I am taking notes.
In my hoodie.
Yeah, my Kermit hoodie.
Yeah, my Kermit hoodie.
So we get to the wake. Obviously, it's very mournful. Laris is doing his normal creeper activities. And
with a strong foot.
With a strong foot. And somebody points out to Allison, they're like, hey, Allison, I don't know if you remember this.
Crispy Cole did.
But, Crispy Cole. So, Crispy Cole's like, I don't know if you noticed, but Laris is over there, and he's been staring at you this whole time, and she's like, oh my God, who is he going to kill next? And claim that it was for my benefit.
Yeah. She's just like, he's just proud. He's the new Lord of Harrenhal. And they're like paying to him, and he's just like,
hello, how are you? And it still doesn't cross anybody's mind that, like, he's the Lord of Harrenhal. How convenient that is.
Yeah.
How convenient it is that this guy's the new Lord of Harrenhal when his brother and father were both burnt to a crisp and there were scratch marks on the doors. They didn't have a chance to get,
They were bolted doors. And also, when everyone's, dealing with the aftermath of the fire, there's just tongueless creeper in a hood with his firefly vigil.
Right. He went that way. It's so insane. So the wake is a very sad affair. Lord Corliss then goes up to Lucius.
Lucerys.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to get these names right eventually. Lucius is from Harry Potter, obviously, which is one of my favorite characters in Harry Potter. Lucerys, I should remember that because I like Lucero, the band. Lucerys is sad, and the Corlys comes up to him and is basically telling him, like, look, we're all sad, and the kid is like, I have the same right to be sad as everybody else does, but he's not really being allowed to be that way, and Corlys basically explains to him, he's like, cheer up, son. Oh, do I have something on me?
Yeah, it was a crown.
He's like, cheer up, son. You're the heir to Driftmark. And he's like, I don't want it. And he's like, whatever could you mean? And he says,
because if I'm the Lord of Driftmark, that means everyone's dead. And literally, that was just heartbreaking because that's true. Like, it's sad. Like, these kids know they're so in tune at a young age of what's going on, exactly. And that's pitiful. Like, he don't want to play the Game of Thrones.
No, he just wants to be a boy and have all his brothers live.
Yeah, and have his fake daddy and his real daddy, and just all his peeps just vibing and living and just dragging it up.
Yeah, that's really all we want in life is all our peeps vibing and living it up on dragons.
All right. Well, we're at the funeral. You see Rhaenys give Rhaenyra a very cold look. It's obvious she don't like Rhaenyra no more because she's not an idiot. She knows that her grandkids are not biologically her grandkids. And then there's a little sweet moment where, she goes up to Laena and Daemon's kids. Rhaenys hugs them, they tell her that, they love her or whatever. Cut to Aegon just
hammered,
getting just
not wedding drunk or not funeral drunk, wedding drunk,
burping and stuff. He's just hammered. And then they show Laenor in the water, just standing in the water crying. And I mean
it's pitiful. Yeah, his sister has died and he's with her in the water and he's upset.
Laenor's a good person and a regular brother that's his sister. He loves her. He's upset. Naturally that's just ridiculous.
Corlys can't handle that.
Corlys can't handle it. He goes up to Quarrel.
Retrieve your patron.
Yeah, retrieve your patron, sir. And so he's like, all right, dog, cool, I'll go do it. Right after that, it cuts to Viserys going up to Daemon to talk to him. And Viserys looks better. Like we said it earlier, he looks better.
Yeah, he's around his family.
Yeah,
he's even in... It sucks that this is how they had to all be together. We say that at funerals a lot. I hate that it's under these circumstances, but I sure am glad to see you.
Yeah. So he goes up to him and he's just like, come home to King's Landing. There's room for you on my court.
We'll put all of this behind us. You're my brother.
Let's just be together. And Daemon's just like, Pentos is my home. And Viserys is like, you know what? And there's some... Okay, and there's some line, Viserys says to Daemon, I guess about Daemon losing his wife,
he said the gods can be cruel.
And Daemon just literally looks at him and is seems they've been especially cruel to you.
Yeah, right. You look like hell.
Yeah, yeah. So, after that, Daemon walks by Otto, and Otto's like, hello, Daemon. And Daemon says to Otto, no matter how fat the leech grows, it always wants for another meal.
Yeah.
And
I see you creeping around here.
No, it's never enough for you. You always want more power to the expense of it doesn't matter. You don't care. Viserys, obviously, after that, he's tired, and he's like, I'm going to head up to my chambers. He looks at Alicent and he says, I'm going to bed, Emma.
Yeah. So a moment of, because Emma's been dead for 10, 12 years now. So it would be one thing if this was early on. You're like, okay.
I literally think it's actually.
Watch your hand on your mic.
Oh, I literally think it's actually been 15 years that she's been dead.
Right. So it's clearly a sign of him slipping.
He's slipping, yeah. We caught him slipping.
We did. We caught him slipping.
Yeah. He's going to go to bed or whatever. Sir Harold says to, Sir Criston, old crispy Criston, and says to him,
Lord Criston.
So you have the
Sir
night.
Criston.
Yeah, Sir Criston, you have the Night's Watch. And Sir Criston looks at him. He's like, Lord Commander.
Lord Commander.
In other words, I have to correct you because I have to prove myself all the time.
Exactly. Don't disrespect me.
Because my weenie's about like this right here.
Can't fit in a thimble.
Yeah,
teeny dinky.
Yeah, he definitely has a micro.
At this point, Otto goes and finds
Egon
just hammered drunk,
tore up,
grabs him. He's like, we got to get you out of here. You look terrible. And Aemon sees all of this, and then Aemon sort of takes off. Then we've got, are we at the part where Rhaenys and the sea snake are in their chambers discussing?
We're right at that point, right when Aemon sees Vhagar fly over, and he gets this idea like, you know what, this is my chance.
Yeah.
Like, you have to, claim a dragon or whatever. And then we get into the Great Hall at Driftmark, and Rhaenys is just sitting there by the fire. We have Rhaenys at the Great Hall in front of the fire. We have her and Corlys talking, and
he will not shut up about, you're supposed to be the queen. And it's like, bruh,
let it go.
This has been going on for 7 episodes, 15 years. Let it go. She don't care. She's the one that should care. She's telling you not to care. Shut up. She's flat out telling you that because you've been acting this way, this is probably why all this crap has been happening.
Yeah, she said that our daughter would probably be alive if it wasn't for their pride. Corlys says, what is this brief mortal life if not for the pursuit of legacy? Which, dang.
Yeah, that's
profound.
Pretty good line. But at the same time, I've never understood that. That was a Tywin Lannister thing. It's like, legacy is what you leave behind. And it's like, yeah, but you're going to be dead then. So what does it matter? Just live your best life and try to be happy. I'm not saying it doesn't matter to leave your kids something, but at the end of the day, we all should be together. A family should be happy instead of worrying all the time about, what are people going to think about us whenever we're dead? It's like, you'll be dead. So who cares? Just go have a picnic,
Yeah, for sure. Renee says that she wants Driftmark to go to Baela, who is Laena and Daemon's daughter, the oldest daughter. And she said, I want it to be Laena's legacy. And Corlys is like, so we're just going to forget about our son? And she's like, he's going to be king consort to Rhaenyra. It's just us speaking right now. Hello. Rhaenyra's kids are not Laenor's kids.
Right. We're not in front of everybody. We don't have to pretend. My belly's just been showing this whole time.
Good.
So that's good.
Corlys says, history does not remember blood. It remembers names.
And I don't know if I agree with that 100%, because I feel like...
In the history books, they could say, yeah, they're the heir, but BT dubs.
They're bastards.
They're bastards.
Yeah, right. I feel like that's going to get brought up.
Yeah, for sure. Right after that, is that when we cut to Rhaenyra and Daemon on the beach?
Rhaenyra and Daemon are on the beach. They're walking and they're discussing how terrible their lives have been. And then everyone gets the moment that we've all been waiting for, yet we shouldn't feel as happy about. They get it on like Donkey Kong.
And your lighting on your TV is way better than mine.
Yeah, we've rewatched this twice, and at Kirby's house, we literally, all we could do was see kind of their white hair. We were like, I think they're banging, but their hair's kind of the same as the sand.
Yeah.
But on my TV, you can actually see all the foreplay and everything. So they get together, and about that time, we cut over. It's Aemon, right?
Aemon.
It's Aemon. I mean, surely it's not just me. So Aemon is...
There's a lot of names to remember.
Well, and they're all very similar. Aemon is talking to Rhaegar.
Yeah, he goes up to Rhaegar.
He goes up to Rhaegar, and Rhaegar's like, huh? What's going on here? Opens his mouth, starts to breathe a little fire, and then Aemon starts speaking in High Valyrian, like, down, boy.
Yeah.
Don't be doing this. And if you're looking at the closed captioning, do you realize this? It says that the dragon purrs. So I don't know if that's like a cat. It's like, oh, I'm comfortable with you now.
Sounds more like a cow, like a meow.
Yeah. So he mounts Rhaegar and...
About falls off Rhaegar, because Rhaegar's not like, I'm going to reach a certain elevation and just coast.
He takes straight up. Yeah, and Aemon's like hanging on him like a spy in like a Mission Impossible movie or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Rides through. He's having the, I say, time of his life. Once he finally gets him saddled, he's having a blast, flies over, and of course this wakes everybody up, Jace and all the other young kids, and they're like, oh my God.
Someone stole Vhagar.
Someone has stolen Vhagar. I think that Rhaenyra and Daemon were sort of in their post-coital passing out or whatever, because they were just kind of like, did you hear a dragon?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and they kind of look up. Well, the kids...
Yeah, they're just laying on the beach, just smoking cigs, basically.
Yeah,
just
right.
like...
So the kids hear Rhaegar land, and they go to check things out, and of course there's Aemon. He has ridden the dragon, and they're like...
He's like, what about it?
Yeah, what y'all gonna do? I claimed it. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, the girl's like, that was mine to claim, and he's like, well, then you should have claimed it.
Yeah,
you all talk.
Yeah,
I walked the walk.
And by the way, until really this scene or earlier in the episode when he says that basically he wishes his mom would make him marry his sister, we think that Aemon is like not bad.
Yeah, right.
Like we just think that he's a kid that's just kind of been made fun of. You know, like we don't realize that he is a total butthole of a kid.
Yeah.
He ends up calling Rhaenyra's kids bastards, and he's like, oh, by the way, did you not know?
Yeah.
And then he says, like, I'm gonna let my dragon burn y'all up like your daddy. But and like, I mean, just he is egging them on.
Yeah, he's getting a little Joffrey-ish.
Yeah, and I can't remember which one of, because I mean, it's dark. I can't remember which one of Daemon's kids hits him first.
Yeah, and it's a melee. I mean, it's the most violent I've ever seen a children's fight. Like, it was really awesome. It wasn't like, oh, this is a pretty good fight scene for
they
kids.
Just, like pushing each other.
No, it was really gangster. Like, it was super gangster. And at one point, Aemon gets homie down, and he's like, I'm going to hit you in the head with this rock and kill you. And
yeah, he's going to kill him.
And the kid's like, oh, my God. And then, like a great 1980s professional wrestling move, kid throws the dirt in his face, and he's like, oh, my God, slices his eyeball up.
And it's...
Yeah, I mean, it slices it up really good. He's bleeding, and then everybody comes in, and they're like, what is the meaning of this? How could this happen? And homie's sitting there just completely eyeless. And like I said, it was a melee, and the Night's Watch was not there to protect it, and we're going to see the consequences of that later, but huge fight. So after the fight, the king calls everybody into his chambers. It's funny because it's so very much just like a fight happened at Thanksgiving, and everyone's in the living room, and they're like, what is the meaning of this?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, besides the guards, literally everyone there is family.
Right.
Except one thing that is shocking to me is that, and maybe he was there, but I feel like they would have showed him. All these people, where's Larys at? The ultimate creeper.
Yeah, right. You got to feel like Larys was somewhere in the shadows. I remember when we were watching it the first time, we kept thinking that when Rhaenyra and Daemon were banging, that Larys was going to be like creeping behind a bush or something like that.
Yeah.
So no, we don't see him, but they come in and, you know, Aemon,
yeah.
Aemon don't have an eye. Alicent is losing her mind, and it takes the king like 5 or 6 times to get everybody to shut up. And they're like, what's the meaning of this? And the kids over there whisper to Rhaenyra, like, they call us bastards. She's like, what? So everyone's got their own side. It's obviously he said, she said. But Alicent is like, yo, those are your kids. We got to do something about this. And Rhaenyra makes a better point in saying, I'm the heir to the throne, therefore my kids are the heir to the heir to the heir to the throne. Therefore, this is treason. I don't know who you think you are. And Alicent is doing a whole lot of, oh, this is exactly who I am.
Yeah, and all Crispy's in the background just like, yeah.
Yeah, he's laughing. He's just like, yes, call them bastards, whatever.
Yeah. The fact that he hasn't just, besides when Sir Harwin, you know, beat him up, the fact that, like, we just haven't had someone get mad enough at him just to beat the crap out of him. Like, I feel like Sir Harold is, like, sure, he already doesn't like Sir Criston.
For sure.
Like, I feel like that's why he called him Sir Cole or Sir Criston earlier in the episode.
Disrespect.
Yes, like, I'm disrespecting you. I'm not going to call you Lord Commander or whatever.
You made a great point, too. Like, it seems like Rhaenyra could go, by the way, while we're here and we're airing our grievances and we're talking about stuff, back about 15 years ago when I was a child, me and Sir Kristen boned, and therefore he broke his vow, and therefore he shouldn't be in the Knights Guard. Just saying, just throwing it out there. Y'all could execute him if you wanted to.
Yeah,
like, she's got that card that she could play.
Exactly.
Alicent's going crazy. She's basically undermining the king. The king's like, no, we're not, this matter is done. They were arguing. He said some things. They said some things. They cut his eye out. I don't know what to tell you. And she's like, nah, that ain't how it is. You don't hit. If the king ain't gonna give justice, the queen will give justice.
Yeah, and he says, like, if I hear one more person say, like, question the dad or whatever of my grandkids,
I'll cut your tongue out.
I'll cut your tongue out. And like, literally, Viserys, ever since these kids were born, Viserys has literally been like, guys, can we just live?
Yeah.
And just, like, Alicent, it ain't hurting. The whole problem is, Alicent is so jealous that Rhaenyra has got to make her own choices.
Right. Sleep
with who she wants to sleep with. Just, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like everything's easy for Rhaenyra. I mean, there's sacrifices, like, she's the heir, she doesn't get to just do everything everyone else does. But when it comes to being in line for the throne and being a princess, she's got to have an open marriage with Laenor. Like, she's got to do all these things that Alicent hasn't had the privilege of doing, which, by the way, I feel like Viserys is very, like, progressive. Like, I feel like if he'd be like, allow Alicent to do some things, and all. So I think that's where it's really deep rooted. She is mad that Rhaenyra gets to live her life while she feels like she has to make all of the sacrifices. That's what it is. And that's where it's rooted from.
And the king really does let everybody kind of do what they want as long as they can be happy, because he wants everybody else to be happy. And he finally shows his kingness in this scene where he's like, I'm talking, I've said my piece, this is it. He feels like the mom at Thanksgiving when everybody's at the table arguing about politics, and finally she just snaps and is like, guys, listen, we're together. Can we not do this? Okay, you got your eye cut out, whatever. And then Aemon is like, oh, first off, I'm fine with it because I lost an eye, but I gained a dragon. So, like, we're cool. Meanwhile, Daemon's in the back just kind of looking in, just like, boy, look at all this family squabbling.
He literally is like Kermit with the hood sipping his tea.
Yeah.
He is Kermit.
He is Kermit. He's the Kermit of the show. And he's also, I think, kind of relieved. He's like, man, everybody's mad, and like, I literally didn't do anything.
No. Like, meanwhile, I was just banging my niece on the beach in poor lighting while y'all were just getting eyes slashed out.
Yeah, they even said that. They're like, where were you? Where is Sir Laenor? She's like, I couldn't get to sleep, so I was just walking on the beach. Totally me, just by myself. I was on the beach. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So the king decides, I'm not going to take anybody. Well, Alicent says, Sir Kristen, take his eye. Sir Kristen totally is just like, whatever, my queen, I'll go do it.
Daemon's
just like, you're not, this ain't you, okay? Then Alicent grabs the Valyrian dagger from the king's sheath and goes over there, and she's going to stab the kid herself. Rhaenyra jumps in. She ends up slicing her arm, and they all just kind of look at each other like, okay, some pretty high treason is going on here, but like, y'all did some treason, we did some treason. In football terms, this would be like, these penalties are offset, repeat first down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's fine.
And also, let it be known, too, this just clicked with me. Daemon's daughters got punched in the face.
Yeah, everybody got beat up.
If he wanted to, he could have made a scene, but he is so calculated in everything he does. Like, he does not let his emotions get the better of him. He's in the background thinking, okay, like, how should I handle this? Like, he's not going to just react.
Right.
Because it'd be normal to be like, no, hey, look, he punched my kids. Like, my daughters. Like, he'd have every right to completely make a scene, and he's just in the background like,
I bet if I just play this out, it's going to be okay.
He is the king of, let's see how this plays out.
Exactly. So Otto Hightower goes and sees Alicent in her chambers, and she's like, okay, go ahead and tell me I've exhibited behavior beneath me or unbecoming my station. And he's like, yeah, word. And everybody thinks you're crazy, and they're right, but we got to look on the bright side. we've got the biggest dragon there is now. And your boy was right. It is worth 1,000 times more than the price he paid. So, like, let's just look on the bright side. We got a dragon now. Everything's cool. Laenor then goes to Rhaenyra, and it seems like he's about to ask for a divorce, is what I thought when I first watched the show. Because he's just like, this ain't working, yada, yada, you know, you've had your lovers, and we're thinking he's going to be like, so we just got to, you know, we got to go our separate ways. But instead, he's like, I'm going to be more devoted to you. I'm going to make more of an effort. I'm going to take my place very, very seriously.
He's saying, like, Quarrel is, like, is heading out to sea or whatever.
Right, and
like,
I'm yours.
Yeah, I'm yours.
Like, I'm sort of disgusted by the thing between your legs, but, like, we'll make it work. It's totally cool.
Almost like, hey, let's try again to make another heir.
Exactly. That way, like, maybe we can put all this BS to bed.
Yeah.
So...
Let's make it more obvious when we have a black baby.
Yeah, right. So,
we finally have one.
So we think, like, okay, all is right. Everything's cool. He's dedicated himself to her. Then Rhaenyra and Daemon are back, like, near the beach or whatever, and she's like, we need to be together. And he makes the point that we were all screaming at the TV where he's like, well, the only way that that's possible is if Laenor's dead.
Oh.
And instead...
I got to say this quote, though, because it was just so romantical. So Rhaenyra is saying to Daemon, like, which I'm gonna have to do some research. She's saying, like, let's be together, kind of like Aegon the Conqueror did with his sisters. Did Aegon the Conqueror marry his sisters?
Probably.
Okay, maybe. Well, I mean, you know, whatever. And she's talking about how House Valerian's made, you know, from the sea, and how the sea is an escape, which is foreshadowing
right.
Laenor escaping on the sea. And she says to Daemon, which, oh my God, but you and I are made of fire. We have always meant to burn together.
I mean, that's a Taylor Swift song if I ever heard one.
Oh.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, like the tension there. This, oh my God. Yeah.
So he says the only way we can be together is if Laenor dies, and we're all like, don't you dare, and she just goes, I know, and not a, I know, therefore we can't do it, like a, I know, I thought about this, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So then enter Kermit.
Yeah, Kermit's down in town or wherever, and goes up to Quarrel,
and he's just like, yo, dog, listen, there's this thing, and I know he's your boy, but I also have a lot of gold, and so I'll give it to you. And he's like, what do you want me to do? He's like, quick death. We need some witnesses. So to us, the viewers, we're just like, oh my God, Carl is going to just, I mean, we thought that he loved Laenor.
By the way, in the book, Quarrel does kill Laenor.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So they just decided to change it.
This is an example, in my opinion, of the TV show being better than the book, because that was a swerve like crazy. So we should have seen this. We should have put this together at first, but we didn't. Daemon snaps the neck of some dude randomly.
Well, we did put it together because we couldn't see.
Yeah, that's true. We couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
Coral goes in, and there's another dude in there, and Laenor's like, what is the meaning of this? You lose your station. You don't know who you're talking to. They fight, ///. We see a body in the fire. We see Rhaenys come up. Screaming.
And we're like, oh my God, it's Laenor.
It's Laenor. We lose our minds. Oh my God, she is the Mad Queen. This is where Daenerys got it all from. This is absolutely horrible.
Horrible.
So, I mean, Rhaenys has nothing to live for. She's lost both of her kids. She's going crazy.
Yeah, like, it's... I don't know what she's going to do the rest of the season, but you can't tell me that there hasn't been something that just... a switch has gone off, and she has always been so cool, calm, and collected and reasonable, and so just kind of normal, and she's going to lose it.
I mean, is she going to go for the throne again?
Well, yeah, because her kids are gone. What does she have?
Yeah, she doesn't have any of that, like our pride's getting in the way. Well, all this has happened, and us as viewers are just like, well, I mean, we officially cannot like Rhaenyra and Daemon again.
Yeah,
They've screwed us. They've made them come together, and we can't like them. And then on the boat,
We see Coral.
We see Coral, and we're like, okay, Coral's getting out of here. He's leaving because he's wanted for murder.
Yeah, we see Coral run to the boat.
Right.
And then it pans to bald Laenor.
Bald Laenor in one of the greatest reveals I've ever seen. Bald Laenor, and we're like, oh my God, Coral's a good guy. Daemon and Rhaenyra are good people, except for, okay, sure, they killed a random dude and they lit him on fire and all that. But aside from that...
For the realm, though.
For the realm. And that was the end of the episode, and that was one of the best swerves I've ever seen in television. As we said a million times, 100,000 dragons. It was great. There was so much in this episode. Like, so much. It never stopped crushing. I mean, we've got a fake death reveal. We've got several murder fights. We've got an eyeball loss. We've got...
Daemon and Rhaenyra finally getting on.
Together. I mean, it was just... such a tremendous episode. I cannot wait for the next episode. I assume that we're going to jump forward in time.
We're jumping forward because all the kid actors that we've got to know in the past couple episodes, they're all gone. I think it's 4 years maybe in the future we're going. So it's all new kid actors.
Okay.
You know, naturally, all the adults, none of them ever... Well, Viserys ages, but, you know, Corlys is just looking the same.
Don't crack, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, you know the old saying.
Yeah. So, we're going to get new actors. I'm going to miss these young ones, especially Aegon.
Oh, yeah.
I love Aegon, man.
Yeah,
he's just... I mean, during the whole scene where Alicent goes crazy, she goes up to Aegon, and he's just like, what?
He's still drunk.
Which, by the way, we didn't acknowledge the fact that Aemond realizes in the moment whenever his dad says, where did you hear this rumor from? You have this look on Alicent's face where she's like, crap. He's going to tell him.
He's going to say it to me.
And it clicks with Aemond. I'm going to say that it's Aegon because what are they going to do to Aegon?
Right.
But something could really happen to my mom.
Exactly.
Which, if he would realize, nothing would happen to his mom because his dad ain't going to do nothing. And
I don't know. I think it's going to come down to it.
I keep thinking, this show really just brings out the worst of you morally.
Oh, for sure.
Because in my head, I'm thinking, Bobby B would have already slapped the piss out of Cersei.
Hunt it. Yeah. And bringing out the worst morally in me, she would have deserved it.
Yeah, because remember when she, questioned?
She said, I wear the pants. I should wear the pants and you the skirt.
Yeah.
And he just, right in front of Ned, and he just backhands her.
Yeah, I mean,
And that wasn't something to be slapped over. But I'm sorry, trying to stab... If my wife got a knife and tried to stab some other kid, I would slap her.
If your wife tried to stab your daughter and then said, hey, Kristen Cole, take out my husband's grandkid's eye.
I'd slap her, and I don't think anybody would question me slapping her.
That's normal.
The craziest of ultra feminists may have been like, no.
An arm and he doesn't have the right angle.
Maybe, but I'm just saying, your ultra never hit, and I may never hit women, but those are circumstances you don't think about in that situation.
When it comes to harm on your children, it's different.
If Viserys had to slap the out of her right then, I'll bleep it. If he had to slap the out of her right then, no one would have been against their moral judgment of being like, just slap her. Just do it. It's fine. Yeah, I agree with you. It brings out the worst in us morally.
If we're going to stand an incestual relationship, we can think it's okay for the king to slap his queen once.
Yeah, once for this. I agree. One time, you get one.
For sure.
So, wonderful episode. Thank y'all for hanging out with us here at Little House of the Dragon, a sister podcast to Puttin on Airs. Remember, you would have gotten this episode early and ad-free if you joined us over at
parttimefunnyman.com.
That's right, where Kirby was my guest joker on Joke of the Day this week.
Oh, and I just need to say, too, there really wasn't that many memes for this episode that I saw, but one that we did see that we just thought was funny was Daemon wearing the hood.
Oh yeah, the Kermit put it up to the camera.
Yeah, my favorite thing about Daemon is that he has a hoodie specifically for committing crimes. And there was another. God, where was the other one?
It was him as Kermit that says Daemon whenever
a spouse needs to have an unfortunate accident. Yes.
Weak memes this week, but a wonderful show, and thank y'all for tuning in, and we love you, and as always, stay fancy.
Yeah, peace.
I know you're probably thinking to yourself right now, am I insane or was there not a wedding? No, you're not insane. Me and my sister are just idiots and somehow skipped over the fact that Rhaenyra and Daemon got married. That is on us. There was some behind the scenes stupidity going on. One of them was that my power went out right in the middle of us recording, and when we picked back up, we just somehow skipped over one of the most pivotal parts of the episode. But I will say, to defend us a little bit, maybe that is just how good of an episode it was that we somehow skipped over a Targaryen wedding. A Targaryen wedding, by the way, a wedding in Westeros, a wedding in Westeros where no one got killed. The complete opposite of what you'd normally think would happen. So, you're not crazy. We're just idiots. And, oh, by the way, hi, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. If you're seeing this, maybe you already came out to the shows. But if not, you missed it, and I'll see you next time. Love y'all. Thank y'all for supporting this show. Hope you enjoyed putting on airs this week. And also remember to check out parttimefunnyman.com where you would get this episode early and ad-free. Love you. And so sorry that we're less than professional. Mwah.